It was an act of self-defense.
I didn't mean to kill him.
It was a prison run by cons.
Don't let them keep me in here, Lori.
Her sister was the victim.
A long way from home, Goldilocks.
Her sentence was murder.
Sayonara, sweet lips.
Now was the time for Vendetta. Inside was a world she'd never known.
I need someone tonight. I need a man.
Hey, come on, I already serviced 3 girls today.
What are you in for?
You're my husband, his mother. They deserved it.
Oh, what the hell? Let's make it 4.
Heard you've been asking a lot of questions.
I give the orders around here.
Nobody rips me off.
A world on the edge
Curtis, do you bear me?
and about to explode.
And you're the only one left.
Here, justice is Vendetta.
Welcome to They Call This a Movie, testing the strength of friendships one terrible movie at a time. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and other podcast services by searching They Call This a Movie. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at TicTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. Welcome back to They Call This a Movie. This is Anthony Delvecchio, and with me as always is Dan Aquino and Mark Myers. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello, friends.
Hello, everyone. And as you've heard on this podcast, I have started to make my journey back to movie theaters a little bit. And I just had a thought, because, you know, saw Cocaine Bear this weekend. And do you find yourselves when you're at the movies, you're influenced to react to scenes based on the crowd that you wouldn't do at home? Because there were a couple scenes that I don't think were funny, but there's this one guy in my theater that had this really ridiculous, infectious laugh. And I started laughing way too hard at scenes that I didn't think were all that funny. But I think it's a new phenomenon now that I'm going to shows with people in the theater that I completely forgot about. Probably just a me thing, but I don't know if you guys feel that phenomenon.
I don't know. Maybe ask me when we used to do What Did You Watch This Week segments.
I love how
Mark.
like the vitriol from Ant now that we don't do this anymore.
Not only is he going to the movie theater, he's now bringing questions specific to his movie-going experience. We did it for a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. We had that segment.
Striking while the iron's hot.
Nothing. Just watching YouTube. And now all of a sudden, we're like, maybe we've retired it, 15 weeks ago, 20 weeks ago, maybe? And now Mark's all of a sudden going to the theaters.
I'm free. There's no pressure to watch movies now.
Every week, Mark's got a new movie.
Every
Have
week.
you guys seen this movie? No?
And
well,
the
here's
big
what
hitters.
I think of it.
Yeah, the big hitters. Megan, Cocaine Bear. Really. And I can't wait for the summer. I can't wait for the summer when Mark sees like the Marvel movies that everyone else has just given up on.
Should I just not show up next week then, Ant?
Oh yeah, because Creed 3's coming out. Yeah, so Mark's got another one. Everybody.
Yeah, well, now if people are interested to see what Mark thinks of Creed 3, they can tune in next week. While we sit there and say, I don't know.
Guys, we should have a segment to highlight this stuff.
Wouldn't that be an idea?
To answer your question, Mark, the only time I've ever been in a movie theater that has the crowd effect is the Marvel movies. That's it. I think one time Anthony and we went and saw Machete Kills, and we were kind of
original.
Or was it just Machete?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and we were laughing at that, but that was it, really. I can't think of another movie-going experience where I was influenced by the audience.
I refuse to answer this question. Anyway, guys, this week was a little bit deja vu for the movie that we picked because you guys probably don't know, those listening to here, we've covered this movie before, and then we completely lost the audio. And by we, I mean me, because this was the 1 week that we were ahead of schedule in terms of recording. We recorded an entire week ahead of time, which we usually do not do. And then I was late in downloading it from our recording software, and it got deleted. But I believe this originally was Dan's pick. Is that correct, Dan?
No.
I think it was Mark.
Yes, it's
It was
always
your
been
pick.
mine. Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you introduce this week's movie?
Yeah, so the original reason this was picked is back when we were trying to solicit, movies from people we knew, the audience and all that. And I had a coworker who really likes our podcast. She had suggested this movie, Vendetta, as a movie that she and her friends used to watch all the time when they would hang out around the time that it was released out on VHS. And she said, it sounds perfect for what you guys do. It's kind of a very cheesy women in prison movie with like some bad fighting scenes and just poor dialogue, and was just like, it feels like something that you guys would like. And then we watched it the first time. I forget exactly how we talked about it, but I think I was talking to Dan off pod before this, that I felt I noticed a little bit more and maybe got some of the stuff a little bit better on second watch, or maybe I was like rushing to watch it last time or something. But there were a couple decisions that I thought I knew why she did them, and then realized through this watch that I completely misread it. So it was a little more enjoyable in some cases here, and it also felt quicker. So I don't know if just getting used to doing this all the time, it starts some of these movies that aren't drags start speeding up a little. But it was fun. It could have been told better in certain spots, but again, that's why it's not some like critically acclaimed darling or anything. But it was fun seeing, as I probably mentioned in the last time we recorded, it was fun seeing Mac's mom from It's Always Sunny just be like the queen of the prison yard. And it'll never not make me laugh anytime I see that in here. But yeah, it was perfectly fine movie. The only thing I wish, I don't know, I'd like to get your guys' opinions. I wish they would have found maybe a better lead actress in terms of someone that could do action. I don't know if this movie was too small for a Cynthia Rothrock, or if this was too early for her. But, someone that could make the fighting scenes a little more believable. But yeah, that's about it on why.
Okay. I guess Mark's not believing in the kicks, I guess.
Oh my God, we're gonna get to the kicks, my friends.
Dan, what about you? Where are you coming from? Vendetta.
Yeah, I had completely forgotten that we covered this movie, and as I was watching it, I was kind of slowly remembering certain spots. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember Mac's mom being in it now. Okay, and I completely forgot about the sister being killed off. How they killed her off, how the prison doesn't give a shit. They just completely overlook the clear bruising that she was beaten up and all that. And then I was picking up on other things where I was more taking notes for the first time, I guess. And this time I was trying to just more pay attention to the movie, where I noticed the sound design, the sound mixing is dog shit in this movie. You could hear the buzzing when they turn the mics on. When certain characters are talking, you'll just hear a faint buzzing noise, or audio will completely cut in and out. I thought Mac's mom, Kay Butler, in the movie, her name's Kay. I loved how she chews the scenery in every scene she's in, and she's in quite a bit of the movie. So she's the main antagonist. I did not like the actress that plays Lori Collins. She was an okay, I guess, fight coordinator, but she gives some really bad line reads in this movie. But the one that stands out the most to me is when she's purposely trying to get thrown into prison, and she's at the scene with the judge, and the judge is kind of going lenient on her. Oh, this was done out of stress, so your sentence is suspended. She has a line reading. It's like, I've had it with your legal bullshit. It's so bad in this movie. She's talking to who is she talking to? Not the judge. It's like the DA. Maybe that's who she's talking to outside of the courtroom. I've had it with your legal bullshit.
That's a judge that they're trying to get to look into the case.
Okay, yeah. There's this female judge, and for some reason the judge is just kind of pushing it to the side.
The judge's point is that she's like, well, it's not court hours. I will look into it on Monday morning.
Oh, that's right. And I've had it with your legal bullshit. Like, well, yeah, she's gonna look into it if you just give her some time.
Yeah, it's like she's about to head home on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, there's a time and place, Lori.
One of my favorite things about this movie is that literally no one with any authority has even the slightest bit of empathy. Maybe the one head of security at the very end.
Oh, not Deborah Harry.
Yeah, they're not Deborah Harry. Maybe her, but everybody else that has some kind of authority is all like, oh, you might have been raped and killed a guy. Oh, I don't care. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see what you mean, and I understand where you're coming from, but 100%, most of the events that take place in this movie, at least within the prison, could have been undone by any level of competency by Miss Dice.
Yeah.
True, because she clearly knows that Kay runs the cell block, but she is so lenient with her.
Yeah.
And if she were to just bust her down, put her in solitary, it solves all the problems.
Well, we find out that the warden wants Kay in charge because it helps him make money.
He doesn't want the power. He doesn't want the power vacuum if she's removed from power, because then it becomes even more chaos. But tossing her into solitary without asking the warden, that's like the first scuffle between it's even Bonnie and Kay. She immediately thinks Bonnie's the troublemaker.
Right.
Like, how long have you had this job as head security guard or head guard at this prison where all you take Kay's word for Bonnie's the troublemaker, this 5'0" 95-pound girl, also first day in prison's beating up the queen of the prison. Come on.
It shows, like you said, a lack. It's just incompetence.
Yeah, and she kind of knows that if she does anything that harms Kay's standing and all, that she might not have a job. So it's just easier to go, yeah, whatever she does, as long as, I was going to say as long as she doesn't kill anyone, but we know that occurs. She'll just turn a blind eye to it and just kind of, I think more so than blaming Bonnie in my reading a second time through, is she's just trying to have her steer clear of Kay. Like, hey, just stay away from her. Like, go do laundry, fit in, just go into the background. Don't make any ruffles sort of advice here, just because she knows what could eventually happen to Bonnie, which is what eventually does. But yeah, it was just, the fun part was I wasn't provoked, so there's nothing she could have done to prevent it.
Yeah, like she does exactly what she's told. Yeah, she lays low. And
I have two main problems with this movie. Two main problems. One, the killing scenes, the death scenes between Laurie and the other inmates are incredibly soft. She kicks, essentially she just kicks everybody. That's all she knows how to do in this movie. She hasn't met a problem that she can't kick away. She kicks one woman at the windmill factory, not the factory, the windmills, and she falls a total of maybe 3 feet. Yeah, and she's dead.
We're like, let's say 7 feet, I think.
Yeah, maybe. That I feel like 7 at max, right?
It's not a fall that should kill you.
No. No, I don't think any fall should have killed anyone in this movie. I don't even think they threw the sister from high enough up to kill her.
I think it, to us, because of the way the set is, I think looks like it's 2 levels, but then they mentioned something about the 4th balcony.
Yeah.
Or something later.
Okay, so they must have thrown her off the 4th balcony.
Isn't she basically dead before they even throw her? They shoot her up with heroin.
Yeah.
Is that what killed her? I thought they were saying the fall killed her. I can't remember.
Well, that's what they're using as the excuse. She's a drug addict that committed suicide.
Right. I mean, they put enough heroin into her to put her to sleep, as they said, and then they tossed her off the side.
Yeah.
You can't brace yourself if you're knocked. At the very least, if she's unconscious because she has heroin in her system, she's not stopping herself. But it's supposed to be 4 stories. Yeah.
So now that leads to another question. If you're overdosing a person, why bother throwing them off the balcony just to make sure that they're dead?
It's a fair question because that would make it look more like a suicide or an accidental overdoses. That's just easy enough, right?
Yeah, just say she overdosed. That
Yeah.
no one's gonna look no one's gonna look at it too closely. Not that they looked at it closely here, but it's not as suspicious.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's to make sure she's dead.
That would make sense to me, right? Like, oh, we don't know if this is gonna kill her for 100%, but we'll toss her just to make sure.
Yeah.
My second problem with the movie is the ending. Laurie kills 5 people in this movie, and she gets to go home scot-free.
Yep.
I don't understand why.
Yeah, I mean that kind of flies in the face of like, her actions lead to what the warden was trying to avoid, which was the power vacuum, right?
Yeah.
So now you would think like they would make it like there's no reason why they would want to cover it up, right?
Yeah, it's in their best interest not to.
Well,
Although,
I think not Debbie Harry just doesn't want her in prison because maybe she sees her as more of a problem in her eyes, and she's killed so many people. It's like the opposite thought process. Like she's killed a lot of people that survived for a long time in here. Maybe we shouldn't just have her in here anymore.
But a corrections officer doesn't get to make that decision. Right?
I mean, this didn't feel like a true prison.
but she didn't. She was okay with Kay killing people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's consistent. She is okay with people killing people.
Right, but if she wants to run, she understands where Laurie is coming from, right? She understands her motivation. So I would think she would know that Laurie is not going to continue to kill people because she even she says like she even makes the comment about was it worth it? Basically, did it bring Bonnie back? No. So
that's the problem I have. Like she's telling her she not Deborah Harry is telling Laurie, I know that you killed those people. It's an admission of guilt essentially.
Right. I think
she's
add
on.
I think she is. I don't think Miss Dice is all that interested in punishing Kay's killer. Kay's as the head guard. Kay is becoming an issue, right? She's killing people. She even says that to her when the one blonde girl gets killed in the shower. This is kind of she's got to say to Kay that this is all you're doing.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's gonna jump to make accusations of. She does make the accusation to the warden already while they're shooting skeet randomly. That she thinks that all the killings are because of Laurie because she's Bonnie's sister.
Yeah, and I would. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that. But at the point that she has to kill Kay essentially because Miss Dice is the one that kills Kay.
Right.
That it's the point is at that point like, well, Kay's dead regardless, and I had to kill the prisoner because she was attacking another one, and then that's how they basically put that to bed.
So she's basically keeping it like I know your secret,
and this was one of the things that I picked up on second viewing. Is I have a feeling that she purposely said all that to the warden, knowing that Bobo was the girl, was one of Kay's people, was there. Like it was one of those things. Like I know she's listening, so it'll I'll kickstart that to give me an excuse to kill Kay, sort of thing. That's what I picked up on because she's saying it a little too loudly with this, knowing this woman's here putting the skeet in.
Right. Yeah. It's hard for me to tell because sometimes Miss Dice seems like she's smart, and then other times she seems like she's dumb as hell,
or just uncaring.
Yeah, just like her first initial reaction with Bonnie. That's the part where I'm just like, well, are you stupid? Like, why bring her? Like, I get the idea of like her trying to be like, keep your head down. Stay away from Kay and what have you. But she goes through the whole song and dance of bringing her to the warden, telling the warden she's a troublemaker to the fact that the warden says, oh, she doesn't look like a troublemaker to me. It's like, okay, understand your prisoners, get the dynamic. And then all of a sudden, like in other scenes, it's like, Oh, no, she understands the dynamic fully.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you're telling me that Miss Dice is an unevenly written character for such a fine film, then I just do not believe that one second.
Another thing I picked up on second watch, I was watching a lot of the background actors in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think the director really knew what to tell them to do. Because
Mhm.
a lot of times that they're just going batshit crazy in the background. A lot of the other inmates, like there's the one fight scene between was it Lori and Kay's, like, I guess, whole group. There's a couple of and if you go back and watch, there's a couple of the other female inmates who are just like they're going like Super Saiyan in the background. Yeah. It reminds me of. Have you guys seen the first Mortal Kombat movie?
We
Yes.
covered it on this podcast.
We did, right? Do you remember?
No, Dan, I've never seen that movie.
I don't want to assume anything. Do you remember the scene where there's these two, like, henchmen, these two beefy, like, big henchmen, and whenever Goro comes out, it's like it's the greatest thing these guys have ever seen. And, like, they're just like smacking each other, like getting real pumped up. Yeah, like getting real fired up. Do you remember that?
I think so.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. Like, these two women are just looking at each other. Yeah, this is the best thing of their, like, they look forward to this all day.
Fight, yes.
Yeah, and there was these older women in the final scene with the Prince talent show.
The Drag King.
Yeah, which is to me is the highlight of the movie. But there's these older inmates when the prison riot is going around, and they're just like picking a table up and down.
I noticed that same thing, Dan.
I don't know. I guess the director just said, "Go crazy," and they're like, "Okay," and they're just like, "Yeah, this is fun." They're just picking up the table.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know why we're focusing on these women, but I enjoyed it.
Right. It's a case where we had to fill this women in prison movie with women. All we could find was middle-aged women, so and we can't have them going too crazy because they might not be able to do so.
That's what it was. Like,
Yeah.
they're too old to partake in the fight.
Right.
But they're
But
just
we need
young enough.
we need to create chaos, though.
Exactly.
So what can they do?
Well, they can pick things up.
But that is the best scene in the movie, and then Kay just comes in and ruins it.
She
Man.
does. Yeah.
Everybody's having a great time watching the Prince drag show, and then that turns into also a strip performance.
How do you allow that as the guards?
Man, those guards are super lenient. They're just like, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
The one guard's like it's probably 100% behind it.
Oh yeah, mullet guard.
Moral guard.
Mullet. Yeah. I've serviced 3 women today already.
I love how Miss Dice at the end is like tired of his bullshit. He says something and she goes, "Shut up, sleazebag."
You're such a sleazebag.
Yeah.
Look at all these sleeping beauties.
The ending is so awkwardly cut, right? Because you have the prison riot going on, and then you have Lori fighting a prison guard, and you also have Lori fighting Kay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
and Bobo.
Right. So there's a lot going on, but it's very rough edits where there's action happening between Lori and Kay, and then it'll cut to Officer Mullet and Officer Dice just kind of like shit talking each other. So I don't know if they just needed to stretch out the runtime a little bit, or they didn't have good footage.
Yeah, they needed to get within the minute limit for Oscar consideration.
That's what it was. Yeah, of course.
That fight with Bobo had probably my favorite kick in the movie, where she needs to go up a few steps to turn around and kick her.
She was big. She was very tall. And also, for that prison, Kay is the most liberal of all of the inmates, right? She hangs out with women of different colors. I think Bobo is transgender, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So the other inmates are super racist.
Well, no. Kay also is.
She's also racist.
Because that's the reason why the whole fight starts, is because Elena is there hanging out, and I guess Kay doesn't like seeing Elena there.
Now,
She's Hispanic.
I was gonna ask, is she Hispanic or indigenous? Because
Right.
they make comments that they call her Pocahontas,
Mm-hmm.
and then they use other racial slurs. I'm not gonna say here, obviously, but alluding to her being Hispanic.
Yeah.
So I didn't know.
I don't think that she's discerning enough to even care.
I'm
Right?
surprised. Like, you think that she would want to stick up for herself?
No. I'm saying Kay.
Okay.
Kay's not discerning enough to even give a shit
Right.
about whether or not she's Hispanic or indigenous.
Okay. Question for you guys.
Mhm.
Because, again, the one thing that I really want to highlight in this movie is that Lori Collins knows how to kick.
Mm-hmm.
She's really good at it.
Yeah.
I think she only lands one punch in this movie. How many times do you think she kicks in this movie?
Oof. Well, how many people does she kill?
I think
5.
5.
And let's say she gets into like 7 total fights. I'm thinking like 50.
Yeah,
I was going to say conservatively 50.
yeah. I was going to say it's at least 7 to 10 kicks per fight. So
You're
we're looking
probably
about 50.
You're probably not far off there, Mark.
Yeah.
If any of Kay's or Kay herself had done just a little bit of research on Lori, just watch the tape on Lori, you could beat her so easily.
Yeah.
Like, make sure she doesn't kick you, and you got her.
Yeah, go for the legs.
Go for the leg. They keep tying her arms up.
I mean,
leaving
Kay
her
did
with
try
her-
that. She dropped the car on her.
That's true.
and like, just mildly bruised.
Yeah.
Right. She walks it off.
And the one girl that helps her also gets into the fight with Kay at the end. And I feel like that girl could just wreck Kay.
She's a bad bitch. She's been there for 30 years. She killed her husband, doesn't care. You don't fuck with that kind of person.
Yeah.
I wish they had. I'm sorry, but I wish they had shown more of that dynamic between Lori and the older inmate who's there for killing her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they only show them together 2 or 3 times, and it could have been better to have Lori bunking with the older inmate instead of her bunking with Helena. Is that yeah?
Elena,
Yeah.
So, Vendetta from 1986, directed by Bruce Logan, who is not much of a director, but he has done visual effects and cinematography. Movies such as 2001: A Space Odyssey, Star Wars, Tron.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite the resume.
Right? Yeah. I was surprised. Starring Karen Chase, Sandy Martin, Ken Schreiner, Roberta Collins, Michelle Artigue, Greg Bradford, Bruce Logan, Hoke Howell, and Marta Kober. IMDb score of 5.2 and a Rotten Tomato score of 27%. Couldn't find any budget, 27% audience. Couldn't find any budget or box office numbers. We've covered Friday the 13th Part 2, right? Marta Kober was in that.
Yeah. I was mentioning that before you came on, that I remember when we did that, I'm like, I remember that girl from somewhere when we were watching that movie, and I couldn't put 2 and 2 together. And as soon as she popped up here, I was like, that solves that question.
Yeah.
You know, now that you mention it, Ant, I'm surprised that Bruce Logan was picked to direct this kind of movie.
Yeah, there's no special effects.
Exactly. Why would you pick a guy who's done some of like the most groundbreaking, or at least helped in some of the most groundbreaking visual effects at the time? Why would you put him in a prison movie?
Yeah, he's a cinematographer on Tron.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wasn't Tron up for like an Academy Award for best visual effects?
I mean, if they had visual effects awards back in 1982, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a head scratcher, man. Like, talk about not suiting someone to their strong area.
Yeah, I don't know. So it doesn't seem like a fit that makes a whole lot of sense. But
I was gonna assume this guy did like softcore porn movies, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
Because this is kind of skirting the edge.
Yeah, it's a little. I think most of those women in prison movies are kind of horny, extra horny, and basically just exploitation movies just to show some tits. I mean, there's so many scenes of this. Like, why are there Why are there boobs here? Why does this woman get stripped in the middle of this fight scene after the Prince show?
Oh, I
Just
remember
because?
that. The one woman who like gets pinned down and her shirt ripped open and then punched in the face.
Yeah, no reason for it.
You know what this fight scene needs? Boobs.
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 Yeah, I mean the shower scene is just full frontal to the max.
Yeah.
Right, there's like 7 or 8 women who just you see it all,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't remember like, oh, it's gonna be one of those movies, isn't it? But it kind of dies down up until a certain point, and then there's very scarce.
Yeah, it's not like we don't feel like pervs watching this. Although didn't need to see Mac's mom riding dick for a second time.
I also didn't need to see Mac's mom hide contraband up her cooter. Could have done without that scene, right? Could have we could assume she's going to hide the drugs.
Yeah. Now you see it, now you don't.
Yeah, I don't need the magic trick. Oh, I'm seeing here that Toby Hooper called it weird and wonderful.
Oh, there you go.
The director of A Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If he likes the movie, you know you've done something right.
There you go. You guys want to get into the plot?
Sure.
Let's do it.
All right, Dan, what do you got for us?
All right, so I have two people I would like to shout out today.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, we're doubling it up. So first, as always, going to give a quick shout out to our friends at Geek Vibes Nation, Tia and Brittany. Their podcast, The Top 10 with Tia, weekly podcast where Tia and Brittany go over their top 10 list of the week. So if that's something you're into, go over to geekvibesnation.com. Just search Top 10 with Tia. They're also on YouTube. Same thing, Top 10 with Tia. Like and subscribe. And we're also going to shout out the Game Vault podcast. That's Mark. You are a part of that podcast with some of our other friends. That's a bi-weekly podcast that comes out every other Monday. You guys talk about video game news, what you're playing, up-and-coming games, just anything video game related.
Yep.
They also stream at Game Vault Pod, so just go follow them on all the socials. I believe are Game Vault Pod, correct, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah, so just go give them a follow again, like and subscribe. So some good stuff on there, obviously, or else Mark wouldn't be involved. So yeah, go check it out. Tom's gonna love that.
No. I wasn't a comment for Game Vault Pod. That was a comment of the quality is just because I wouldn't do anything low quality. That was the.
Well, you do this podcast, pretty high quality, I should say.
Yes.
This is the first I'm hearing of the Game Vault podcast, by the way.
Yeah, and you know what? It shouldn't have been me bringing it up, but here I am.
I was trying to keep a secret from Matt.
Marking his secrets.
Like my love of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, and yeah. But that's great. We are going to take a quick break, and you guys are going to listen to messages from friends of the podcast. So we will be right back.
Hey everyone, this is Steve.
And this is Adam.
And we're part of the Hop Nation USA podcast,
Pittsburgh's #3 craft beer podcast.
Join us every Friday for new beer reviews.
We'll talk about the news, history, and homebrewing.
Plus, we'll sit down with the best brewers and industry personalities that'll have us.
So whether you're a casual drinker, a hazy boy hophead,
or even if you're a whale hunting cellar hoarder,
just search Hop Nation USA on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcatcher and join the nation.
Oh hi, didn't see you there. It's me, George, from the best little horror house in Philly, the show where we talk about the best horror movie ever made, according to our guest at least. We've talked about groundbreaking classics like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Alien, but we've also got a lot of great ones coming up, including some very fun guests like Len Kabaczynski of Swamp Zombies and Red Letter Media fame, Caroline Williams, the star of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and Chase Williamson from John Dies at the End. So make sure you're subscribed to the best little horror house in Philly, and I'll see you boils and ghouls over there.
And welcome back, and now it's time to get into the plot for Vendetta. We open on a post-apocalyptic scene of a woman being chased by some masked guards down the city street until they ultimately set her on fire and she flails in the street. But it's actually a stunt woman filming a scene in front of a crowd.
I love how the director toes the line here. She's like on fire in front of me. He's like, wait.
Yeah.
Cut.
Very last second. Yeah. Director calls cut, and then a team puts the fire out. Production wraps for the day, and we meet the stunt woman Lori, her sister Bonnie, and her boyfriend Paul. Bonnie starts chatting up some of the local yokels that are watching, and then goes to meet up with her sister.
The first red flag that Bonnie should have noticed is that the person talking to her's name is Joe Bob.
Yeah.
You hit the bricks. You can't run fast enough away from someone named Joe Bob.
Exactly. It's a telltale sign that you don't want to mess with that dude.
Yeah, nothing good could come from a Joe Bob.
Right.
You know who Joe Bob turns into in 20 years?
Who?
I wash myself with a rag on a stick. That's what you get when you hook up with Joe Bob.
Yeah. Or guy scamming the insurance company out of disability checks.
Oh, 100%.
Bitch, you know I can't work. Insurance for people who got eyes all over the place.
And she's holding one kid in one arm, smoking a cigarette, and then making like Taylor ham or whatever for dinner.
Joe Bob, when you gonna get diapers?
We need formula, damn it.
Joe Bob Jr. is missing his Huggies. I apologize to our southern listeners. But not really.
Yeah, I don't.
This is what you get for trying to secede.
Yeah, you wouldn't say that to my face, Yankee.
The three of them head off to a local bar where the production is throwing a rap party, and those same local boys are trying to get in, but the bouncer tells them they can't come in because the bar is reserved for the party. Bonnie talks with Lori about teaching her how to become a stunt woman. Guess she just wants to learn how to kick. But Lori tells her no, it's too dangerous, and she needs to stay in school.
Never use the upper body. The fists are useless.
Fists are useless. Well, technically your legs are stronger than right. Your legs are going to be stronger than your arms, most likely. But I was hoping that it would have been some like mysticism behind her kicks. Like she learned from the greatest stunt woman ever, or like the greatest stunt man ever, how to do a lethal kick.
Almost learned it. She learned it from the same person who she learned Bushido from.
I would have loved that.
Great moment in the movie.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite line in the whole fucking movie.
I would have loved that so much. Like a flashback to her just like kicking, and you see her struggling, and her master just finally tells her the ancient way of doing it. Like, oh, okay, now I know. And she starts kicking holes through like walls and stuff like that, kicking trees over.
I'm picturing like the flashbacks in Kill Bill Volume 2.
Exactly.
Training.
Yeah.
Instead of punching her way out of a coffin, she kicks her way out.
Oh, that's so good. How do you not do that? And then after she's done training, her master asks her, like, where will you go? And like, I'm going to take my talents to Hollywood. And you see her just shouldering a knapsack, just walking into the sunset.
Mm-hmm. I like it. The night goes on, and while Lori and Steve dance, Bonnie goes outside for some fresh air, and she runs into that same yokel and winds up in his pickup truck making out. Tries to take things further, and she rebuffs him, so he pushes harder and pulls a gun on her and threatens to blow her head off if she doesn't do exactly what he says. He then proceeds to rape her. Back in the bar, Lori looks around for Bonnie, and a gunshot is heard. Everyone goes outside to see Barney Fife holding a gun on a nearby catatonic Bonnie, gun in hand with that local boy hanging out of his truck dead. Fast forward to Bonnie's trial, and she is sentenced to 2 years for second-degree murder. Lori and Bonnie.
You just know that kid she killed was a Nepo baby.
You can hear in the background, like the ADR, like, oh, that's so-and-so's kid. Oh my God. They're trying to show how important Joe Bob was, I guess.
Right.
I think they could have done that earlier. That way you don't have the awkward ADR in the movie.
That's the mayor's son.
Right. Like he could have had a line telling Bonnie, like, oh, come on, like, don't you know who I am? I'm the mayor's kid. No one says no to Joe Bob. Like, oh, well, I do. And then that's when he starts getting a little handsy.
Mm-hmm. Fast forward to Bonnie's trial. And Lori and Bonnie talk on behind glass at the prison. Lori tells her that her and Paul are doing everything they can to get her out. Bonnie is then taken to the prison where she is processed as the other prisoners watch and harass the incoming inmates. Bonnie hits the showers and she's followed by Kay. who calls herself the boss of the prison, the big bad wolf. Kay harasses her enough and Bonnie punches her right in the face. So Kay grabs her and tells her that she's off to a bad start and Kay can basically make her life a living hell.
See, she used her fist instead of her legs. That was her.
Yeah, it's true.
If she had gone with the legs, Kay would have been dead.
Well, if Laurie taught her like she wanted.
So this is all Laurie's fault?
This is all Laurie's fault.
Oh.
And probably Miss Dice's as well.
Yeah, she shares the blame. I forgot. There's a scene that made me laugh so hard at the bar where Laurie and was Paul?
Yeah.
Laurie and Paul asked Laurie to go for a dance. And Laurie tells Bonnie, hey, remember the rules. Don't go anywhere. And as soon as Laurie and Paul leave, there's a guy standing just off the camera who comes right in. Want to dance? No, thanks. Okay. And then just leaves. The guy was just waiting for his cue. Like, all right, go. Want to dance?
Female guard named Miss Dice comes in to check in on the commotion, and Kay says that Bonnie attacked her. So Miss Dice takes Bonnie to the warden's office. The warden says Bonnie doesn't look like a troublemaker, so Miss Dice talks to Bonnie, telling her she can't attack people and that she's being assigned a job in the laundry room. We cut to the same day, sometime later though, and Bonnie is working in the laundry room and she's made some friends with another worker, Sylvia. They sneak off to the back room to go smoke some weed when Kay and her crew come in, and they immediately start hassling Bonnie and push Sylvia out of the room. Kay starts working over Bonnie until Bonnie is able to break free and makes a break for it. Then she's surrounded by all Kay's crew, so they take turns beating her unconscious, and then shoot her up with heroin until she either falls asleep or overdoses, and then tosses her body over a railing. Then jump cut to Laurie performing a falling stunt into a stunt bag and then heading to her trailer. She gets a call, and it's the cops telling her that Bonnie is dead. So she and Paul go to identify the body and sees bruises on Bonnie's body that are inconsistent with the suicide, which is what the coroner has written down. She goes to talk to Mr. Watson, a district attorney, who tells her that they have written statements by several experts saying suicide, but if she could get the case reopened by the Superior Court, he'll look into it. She hires a fancy pants city lawyer who tries to convince the judge to reopen the case, but she says she won't hear anything out of court hours. So Laurie gets pissed and tells her it's all bullshit, which probably doesn't help them trying to get the case reopened.
I'm sorry, Aunt. How does she say it?
It's bullshit.
I'm tired of this legal bullshit.
I am tired of your legal bullshit.
So am I. I'm tired of legal bullshit too.
I get that they're trying to portray that Laurie will like stop at nothing to get justice. That's not the way to do it. It'd be different if it's in the courtroom, right? And like it's not being heard. Then you could say I'm tired of this bullshit. But you're talking to a judge out of office hours. There's really nothing much the judge can do at that point. It's not
right.
The judge isn't gonna be like, oh, you know what, Laurie, you're right. Let's start the trial right now.
Exactly. And sure enough, the Superior Court upholds the coroner's report. So Paul tells Laurie that it's time to move on. They've done everything they can to try and get this done. But Laurie doesn't listen and decides to take matters into her own hands. We cut to her at a fancy restaurant where the original judge on Bonnie's murder trial is having a meal. She goes to the valets and convinces them to give her the judge's car. With $20, it goes a long way. And proceeds to take it on a joyride while chugging a bottle of wine.
Who is she talking to in the car?
Us.
Right, it's to the audience, isn't it?
Yeah.
They always say the first bottle is the best, but I think the second bottle tastes just as fine. Who are you telling that to? Is that yourself?
She's trying to convince herself to drink the second bottle.
Yes. Is she really drunk? Or is she pretending?
At that moment, I don't think she is.
Okay.
Right.
Because I know she's doing this on purpose, but you don't need to be drunk to do it.
I think she at least wants to get drunk driving on her record. So she wants to pad the stats basically in order to get thrown in prison.
Right. Yeah. I feel like taking a judge's car is going to get you there, and then destroying it, as well as robbery. Right. She commits robbery. She steals a bunch of pearl necklaces.
Yep.
So Grand Theft Auto, destruction of public property, theft.
Knocks over all those parking meters.
Yeah. Yeah. It was only $8,000 worth of damage too, which I find hard to believe. She crashed into a storefront.
Yeah. The car alone's got to be like $8,000.
Yeah. And she flips the car over another car.
Yeah.
So she's destroyed 2 cars in the process.
Mm-hmm. She drives around jumping on curbs, nearly hitting pedestrians, and generally being a menace to parking meters. until she tosses one through a storefront window to steal some pearls. She then takes the cops on a police chase until she rolls the car off of a parked car and is arrested. She goes in front of court, and for some reason, the judge whose car she stole is now the presiding judge on this trial, which seems like a conflict of interest. I guess there's only one judge in this podunk town. He fines her $8,000 in damages and 12 months in prison, but suspends the sentence because of her emotional stress from her sister's death.
Oh, she has another good line reading in this scene. I forget exactly what she says, but it's like, oh, you call that justice? What about all the others that never got justice?
Laurie jumps over the table and grabs the lapels of the judge, throttling him, and basically calls him a piece of shit. So then the judge revokes the suspension and tells her that the sentence begins immediately. I'm not sure if that's a thing that can be done once you maybe he didn't hit his gavel and made it set in stone.
No, he did. He hit the gavel and said, "Oh, we're commuting your sentence. Time served."
Yeah.
And then
maybe there's paperwork that needs to be signed before it's in stone.
Yeah, I think that the hitting the gavel is more of a like a pomp and circumstance kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Just this is how it was always done. I don't think that ends the case, right? Like I already hit the gavel.
Right. I guess I'm curious to just when is the sentencing official, right?
It's got to be signed, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah. And at the prison, Kay is in her cell getting ready for a date with 10 inches of Italian stallion, as she says. Meanwhile,
so he was really like 7 inches?
Probably, yeah. 10 inches just seems like a lot.
It's a burden, really.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
just hit that setup pitch, Dan. Thanks.
Someone had to. Might as well be me.
That's right. Meanwhile, her goons are cutting up drugs while she gets ready. Kay then heads out with the guard in a van and makes a pass at Laurie as she's being processed. Laurie then gets brought into her cell and meets her cellmate Elena, who is not super happy about having a white cellmate. Meanwhile, Kay gets taken to a motel where she has a conjugal visit with a guy, then takes a package of drugs from him and hides it up her vagina to smuggle back into prison.
I'm sorry. I like how Kay gets hers and just like, that's it, right? Because the guy's like, wait, I'm not done. Yeah, this ain't a joyride. God damn, Kay.
Yeah, what was he waiting for?
Yeah, it's not my fault you couldn't finish.
Pretty much. And how long do you think that conjugal visit was? Because that guard was knocking on the doors like, all right, time's up.
What do you I don't know how long they give them, like half hour maybe?
Right, that'd be excessive if it was anything more, right?
Yeah, you can't give them an hour. That's, who knows what could be going on in there for an hour.
Yeah. I hope I never find out.
That's a good point. Yeah. If you do, let us know.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know. I'll write you a letter.
Your one phone call. Yeah. So guys, it's about a half hour. We were right.
We're like, you know what? That conjugal visit stuff is bullshit. There's no such thing.
Yeah, that could just be false. Is it? Oh, I gotta hold on. You keep going. I want to see if conjugal visits.
I was looking it up now. Are conjugal visits a thing?
Just in 80s prison movies.
It looks like it's real.
Okay.
Is a scheduled period in which an inmate or a prison or jail. Okay, so she can't just go banging strange.
No, has to be the legal spouse.
Okay, so that makes sense. So Kay couldn't have done it, or Paul, right? Because I don't think Laurie's married to Paul.
I don't know. They never really say, do they?
They don't. They never make it a point to say that they're married.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that this movie is fictional? I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I thought we were a documentary podcast, Dan.
Yeah.
Now you tell us? So Laurie gets sent to work in the garage fixing cars, and she starts asking an older inmate about the goings-on in the prison and whether or not murders happen a lot around there. Inmate says, just keep your head down, don't pay attention to anyone else. And later, Laurie witnesses Kay and her girls trying to shake down one of her dealers, tries to convince the dealer to take some more stuff to sell, even though she says she wants out of the game. Later at the dining hall, Laurie sits with Sylvia and the older inmate from the garage, and they give her the lowdown on Kay and how she runs the prison. Then Sylvia then goes off. Meanwhile, Kay sits down with her girls, and one of them tells her that they're a few grams short of their supply. So Kay tells her to go find it, or else it's their problem. Off in the laundry room, Sylvia starts shooting up some heroin from Kay's stash. Then hears a noise, so she quickly cleans up and hides when Kay walks in. Notices some heroin missing from the supply she's hidden in one of the dryers. Later, Sylvia goes to the exercise room where Kay and her girls are there already. Kay calls her over, and the girls sit her down on an exercise bench and start lowering a heavy barbell onto her, interrogating her about the missing heroin. She says she didn't take any, but she knows who did.
Mark's not happy about that. Yeah. That really
Sylvia's
upset
sick.
Mark.
I know, right? You've seen the movie, right, Mark?
Yes.
I didn't surprise you about this.
Yeah.
Okay. In the kitchen, the dealer Kay was shaking down earlier is having withdrawals as Elena, her lover, tries to calm her down. Kay and her girls come in and pull Elena away, then attack her girlfriend, as Sylvia has told them that she was the one that stole the drugs. So they hold her down while Kay breaks her hand with a meat tenderizer. It's then back to rec time as some inmates play video games, some exercise, and Kay and her girls play some cards. Elena comes over to Kay and tells her that Amy, her girlfriend, didn't steal her drugs. Kay blows her off, so Elena pulls Kay by the hair off of her seat and they start to fight. They roll around on the ground for a bit until the girls grab Elena and pull her up. Kay takes a dumbbell and then starts hitting Elena in the stomach. Then Kay goes to hit her in the face, but Lori grabs it from her and twists her arm back and then kicks a bunch of her girls. Lori tells Kay to order the girls to back off, and she does. Then the mullet guard comes over and shakes his head. Lori then goes to visit Elena in the infirmary, and Elena tells her that Kay was the one that killed Bonnie. Lori then goes out on a job with a few other girls to repair some wind turbines. One of Kay's girls is there, who excuses herself to go shoot up heroin in some sort of substation. Lori confronts her about killing Bonnie, so the girl pulls a knife on her and they start fighting, and Lori fights her with her patented kicks. Lori kicks the shit out of her and grabs her arm until she names Bonnie's killers. She does, and Lori lets go, then kicks the girl down a ladder, which isn't very high, but the girl falls flat on her back and dies anyway.
Question. Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say she didn't learn how to protect herself. You got to tuck the chin in so when you hit the ground, you don't smack the back of your head. She's got to watch more professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, she did just shoot up some heroin, so...
Yeah, she wasn't in the best state of mind, I'd imagine.
I mean, Jeff Hardy's wrestled before, so...
Is he a heroin addict?
I think it's more booze and pills, but
okay.
That's a joke for my wrestling fans, listeners out there.
Now, do they make a habit of sending inmates to fix wind turbines?
Well, I guess because this is a for-profit prison, right?
Yeah.
They're selling cheap labor.
I mean, what did Malibu and his crew had to do in that movie? Where they...
This is breaking rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're not smart people, but I feel like you would need some sort of engineering to fix wind turbines, don't you think?
I would hope.
Right, and they just pick, who wants to go fix the wind turbines? All right, Collins, you're in.
Yeah, it's not quite the Shawshank guys tarring the roof, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what it would be more along the lines of, right? Just more physical labor. Like, hey, make these coat hangers or make these license plates.
Mm-hmm.
Clean up the roads, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
Yes, boss.
Shaking it off here, boss.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious now. Maybe they do send them on these. Do we have any engineers here? Is anyone on the plane a doctor? Yeah, I'm a doctor.
Dr. Toboggan.
Yep.
Back at the prison, Kay is flipping out over the death of the girl, whose name was Wanda. I would love to know these girls' names before they die, but that's just not how this movie rolls. I think it might be.
That was Wanda.
Yeah. Outside of the main characters, I only found out the girl's name who was in Friday the 13th Part 2. Was it
Sylvia?
Sylvia, because they say it early, and that's how I was able to look at during the movie.
Yeah, and she thinks it might be one of the other gangs. Lori goes to have a conjugal visit with Paul and mentions that she found out who killed Bonnie. She killed one of the other girls already. So Paul freaks the fuck out, which absolutely he should.
Yeah.
I'm glad he did.
Even though Lori confidently exclaims, "It's Bushido," which I think is the funniest line in the whole movie, because it's so hilarious, because there is no point in this movie has it ever explained that Lori is like an Asian file, like a Japanophile.
Yeah. It's never brought up that she knows the ways of Bushido.
Yeah,
this is the first and only time we know about it.
I love Paul's dismissal of it. It's just like, you take away the swords and the stuff, and it's just revenge.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he wanted to come off as ignorant. Like, oh, maybe it is Bushido. I don't know. So I don't want to say because I don't want to get in trouble.
Women will practice Bushido instead of go to therapy.
Fuck, I was going to say something like that. Damn it. That was really good. Good job, Amp.
Paul says that Laurie is changing and not for the better, so Laurie immediately breaks up with him because he doesn't see eye to eye with her on her newfound murderous streak. Late at night, one of Kay's girls goes for a swim at the pool, and Laurie follows her after she gets propositioned by the mullet guard that bangs all the inmates. Then she just proceeds to kick the shit out of the girl, whose name might be China, but it also might just be a racist name for her.
I think it's the latter.
Yeah.
Coming from Kay, it's the latter.
Yeah. Until she kicks her into the pool and she dies.
It's so awkward. She dies face up, and then it's like, well, no, you have to turn around because that's how dead bodies are usually found in the water, right? Face down.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, I'm just gonna awkwardly turn in the water now. You see her legs kind of kick a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good death scene.
As the cops are pulling China out of the... Okay.
One thing I was going to say, there was multiple opportunities in both of these death scenes to do something way cooler. Like, you could have had her kicked off the diving board and into the pool.
That'd be good.
And the desert one, you could have had her, like, well, if you want to go really gruesome, you could have had her go into one of the wind turbines. But, you could have had her fall onto something. What?
She can't kick that far.
She's
100 feet up. 100 feet up in the air.
How do you know it?
It's like Mortal Kombat physics.
She knows Bushido.
That is true. She does know Bushido.
You know what they should have done? All of the kills should have been borderline accidental, where whenever she kicks someone, like they fall and like break the back of their head or something like that, where the kick didn't kill her, the fall killed her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in turn, like she's not exactly a killer.
I think that only happens once, which is surprising. It should have been all of them, like you said. If I remember correctly, the girlfriend, the shower one.
Yes.
I think she kicks her and she smacks her head on the soap thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Bobo falls down the steps too.
Oh yeah.
We assume she's dead. We don't see the body.
Right.
Right.
That's the sequel.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Bobo's Revenge. Or Bobo's Vendetta, I guess, would be the correct term. I don't know. But because Kay isn't killed by Laurie. Right. That's
right.
Officer Dice kills her. So it would have been, because now our main hero is a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little harder to get on her side because Paul has the right idea. Like, I don't know if I want to be with a murderer.
Right. For those of us that don't practice Bushido, it's murder.
Right. Now, do you think that holds up in court?
But sir, it's Bushido. Oh, never mind. Why are we even here?
Yeah, Your Honor.
It's all everybody's time.
My client was clearly practicing the way of Bushido. Oh, case dismissed.
As the cops are pulling China out of the pool, the warden and Miss Dice talk about all the deaths in the prison. The warden is concerned with how this looks towards investors, as this is a for-profit prison. Once again, the enemy is capitalism.
Yeah, I think that was pretty interesting. The commentary about how American prisons are really just for profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the enemy is always capitalism.
Yep.
Or Reagan, one or the other.
I mean, Reagan is capitalism.
This is true.
Yeah.
Miss Dice says that they won't be able to get a handle on things unless he moves Kay, but he says there would be a power vacuum in the prison if that happens and would cause more chaos, so they should just clean up the mess and move on. Another one of Kay's girls goes to take a shower, and Laurie comes up to her and says she knows she helped kill Bonnie. So they fight, and Laurie pushes her into a laundry bin and starts to choke her out, but Laurie has a moment of clarity and starts to realize what she's become, so she backs off. Then the girl jumps out of the bin, grabs a mop, breaks the handle, and then goes after Laurie. So Laurie grabs the mop stick and kicks the girl a couple of times until she knocks her into a soap holder in the shower and cracks her head open, and she bleeds out in the shower. Miss Dice brings Kay to look over the body and the girl in the shower. Miss Dice says she knows that Kay knows what's going on and it's not going to stop. Later, while shooting some target practice, Miss Dice and the warden talks about the killings. Miss Dice says she thinks it's Laurie because Laurie is Bonnie's sister. This being said within the earshot of one of Kay's girls. The warden tells Miss Dice to toss Laurie's cell. So the guards toss Laurie's cell. Meanwhile, down the jail, Kay is getting a massage from her girl that heard about Laurie and Bonnie being sisters, and she tells Kay all about it. And mullet guard bangs Sylvia, even though he's already serviced 3 other girls that day and has to get home to his wife. That's impressive.
Yeah, got some stamina.
They had to make sure that Nelson fucks.
Right? Nelson fucks.
He
There
takes
is
care
no
of his
competent, no one competent in this prison at all.
No, the woman that runs the car shop.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one that helps Lori out.
I'm talking about
right?
like employees.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Yeah, no. We only know a few of them, and they're all really bad at their jobs.
I will say on second watch, going all the way back, I love the delivery. It's the old woman and like ask her why you're in here, and she's like, "Killed my husband and her mother." I liked it.
They both deserved it.
They both deserved it. I liked it.
Yeah, I think the whole problem with this is everyone is really, really slow on the uptake, right? Because you immediately see Kay runs thing. Who else do you think is going to have your sister killed?
Right.
It's not going to just be a random person. And then on the other hand, Kay should know who's killing all of her crew because a new person just came in, and now all of a sudden everyone's dying.
Right.
Obviously, there is a huge correlation between the two, but they just refuse to follow the tracks that lead them to each other.
100%. Yeah. Everything is like the worst kept secret.
Yeah.
Next rec time, a few girls are wrestling as the other girls watch. Lori gets pushed by one of Kay's last remaining girls and they start fighting. Lori kicking and kicking and kicking. The other girl eventually grabs Lori and they start tussling on the floor until one of the other girls grabs Lori and holds her back, and she starts getting punched in the stomach. She breaks free. Then Miss Dice and the other guards break it up. Miss Dice tells Kay that she's losing privileges as a trustee. Now Lori is being sent to isolation. A little while after, one of the guards tells Kay that he's going to pay Lori a visit, with a wink, basically. And then out of nowhere, a Prince drag show breaks out in prison as one of the inmates puts on a show for the rest of them.
Would have been nice if we heard that this was coming.
Right? Yeah.
Hey, just so you know, ladies, tomorrow's the talent show or whatever.
Yeah.
Instead of just very jarring. Like, here's a drag show.
And a Prince song we licensed.
Yeah, that was a legit Prince song.
Yeah, and everybody is loving it.
I was gonna say the woman who is performing does a hell of a job.
Yeah,
it's really good.
The best Prince drag show I've ever seen in a movie,
by far.
I could say that with confidence.
Absolutely.
I love the girl they keep cutting to. That's the DJ.
She's loving it.
Yeah.
She's having the time of. That's what I'm saying. Like the people in the background are just having the time of their lives in this movie.
This might be the best day at that prison ever, until Kay comes in and ruins it.
Dancing terribly.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the guards go into Lori's cell and starts pushing her around. He can't handcuffs her and then starts to undress her. She fights back and jumps on his back and starts choking with handcuffs. As that's going on, the Prince show's going nuts, as now it's become a strip show as one of the other inmates has started taking off her clothes as she dances around. Guards not stopping any of this. Lori continues to fight with the guard until she knocks him out and runs off. Then Kane and her girls show up to the Prince show and immediately ruin everyone's fun by yelling at the other girls at the show for basically being there while also being a minority. So Elena starts talking back, as does this other girl who could, as far as I'm concerned, that other girl could easily take Kay in a fight. The girl was like 6 inches taller than her and like in shape.
Which woman is that?
I don't even think she received a name, but she was the one that pulled Lori out from under the car.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the older woman.
No, not the older woman.
Not the older woman?
No. The older woman pushed the jack up, but
okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember now.
Yeah, she says she thanks her and the girl's like, I don't, like, it was nothing special. I would have done it for a dog, basically.
Gotcha. Okay, and now I know who you're talking about. Yeah. At first, I was thinking either the older woman or there's a woman in that prison who is fucking jacked.
Is she the one of the women that were wrestling in that one scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge. Like, she must have been a bodybuilder.
Yeah. Kay starts fight with that girl and a full-on brawl breaks out in the cafeteria. Meanwhile, on her way back from isolation, Lori runs into one of Kay's girls and they start fighting each other. Bobo. Brawl continues in the cafeteria. Sylvia winds up getting stabbed by Kay. Eventually, the guards lock all the girls in and gas them to knock them out. Kay manages to escape before the gates lock and she runs off. She runs into Lori and Lori says she wants to know the truth about what happened to her sister. And then Lori admits to killing Kay's girls. Then they fight, and Laurie starts to strangle Kay, but stops and leaves her. So Kay goes after her. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria, the guards assess the craziness of all the girls asleep, and the mullet guards marveling over the girls that for some reason have wound up naked in the melee. Kay chases Laurie into the garage, where Laurie locks herself behind a gate. And then Kay takes one of the cars and crashes through said gate. Then they fight up in the garage, Laurie kicking and kicking and kicking until she knocks Kay down, bloodied. Miss Dice comes in with a shotgun, telling Laurie to step back from Kay. As she does, Kay grabs a wrench and goes to strike Laurie. But Miss Dice shoots her in the chest, which there's no way Laurie doesn't get hit with that buckshot, right?
Exactly. She definitely gets hit with something. If I know my shotguns, and I don't actually know about shotguns.
I was going to say, Mark, the secret.
Another surprise.
In Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. What I was going to say about this scene here is I love how they don't even hide that she's wearing that chest thing that makes it look like a gunshot wound.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath her shirt.
Sure.
It was so funny. You can see it pop. I laughed. I didn't notice that on first viewing.
I don't know how to feel about Miss Dice being the one who kills Kay. It feels a little bit of a anticlimactic.
Well, I think the thought process is now Laurie doesn't have to live with the guilt, because she's already starting to feel guilty for killing people. So right. I think Miss Dice is like, hey, I killed her for you. Does that bring Bonnie back? Let's end this stupid shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But she still should have stayed in jail for the other 3 years.
Right. And at the end of the day, it's like, all right, yeah, you got what you wanted, but now you're really going to jail.
Right. Then Miss Dice asks Laurie if any of this brought Bonnie back, as if most of this wasn't caused by complete ineffectual staff of the prison to begin with. She says Laurie will have the rest of her life to think about that. Then we cut to Laurie getting released and getting picked up by Paul, and they drive away. And that is the end of Vendetta. It's kind of a crazy women in prison movie. Kind of fun. Also a little bit slow.
Mm-hmm.
Drags a little bit here and there.
I don't know how to feel about this movie, to be honest.
Yeah, I could see how in its time period it would be one of those VHS rental movies when you were getting together with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I could obviously see where my coworker comes from with this.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not well versed in the women in prison genre, so I don't know where this ranks of what kind of in terms of those movies.
I think this is the only women in prison movie I've ever seen. That's an actual movie.
Right. Yeah.
All the other ones last 20 to 30 minutes.
And you usually don't.
Damn.
And they don't. Damn. And then I don't watch all of that. So maybe 5 to 10.
Yeah.
Stop bragging over there, Dan.
I don't know.
You gotta watch the setup, though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you got to know why they're in prison.
Exactly.
Right. I can't just see or I need to know something. Did they kill their husband? Tax fraud? It helps if it's more blue collar for me.
Right.
But
yeah.
No,
that's what we miss from not having late night Skinamax anymore.
Right.
Right.
It's true.
Bring back the plot to softcore porn.
Yeah, a little showmanship doesn't hurt.
Class up the joint. Is there I don't even know if I feel like those channels don't even show softcore porn anymore. Not that I don't have cable, so I wouldn't know.
That's Joe Biden's America for you.
Man, bygone era.
Yeah, that's the first thing he took away.
Mm-hmm. That's how you make America great again. That's all you need to do.
Bring back Cinemax? Yeah. Well, people might be less angry or more angry depending on what they were expecting.
I don't know. I feel like there should still be a market for non-penetrative porn.
I'll tell you, the first time I saw it, I was very disappointed. I was expecting so much more.
Maybe we should bring it back. Maybe we should be the ones to bring it back.
That's a hell of a pivot.
I don't mean I'm going to star in softcore. I mean, I'm going to we should write softcore porn.
Oh, that's easy. We can do that.
Yeah.
And we could get Bruce Logan to direct.
There you go.
He can fill us in. No, you need more shower scenes, guys. What are you doing? Why are we even here if we're not getting all the shower scenes?
All right. So that is Vendetta. And we've got one more segment coming up. But before that, We are going to take a quick break. You guys are going to listen to some ads, so we can pay those bills, and we will be right back. And welcome back. Now it's time for the final segment of this week. And this week it is 1-star reviews.
Yeah, I get to do this time.
All right. So, prison movies based on their 1-star reviews. And I'm trying to think how to do this. Because there's not many prison movies, so I don't want to just shout out anything you could think of until you get it right. So I think we're going to...
each get a guess. I don't know.
Was that?
We each get one guess, or...
Okay, we can do that way. Yeah. I was going to say you have to buzz in with just yelling your name out or something like that.
Buzz.
Yeah.
Mark!
You can try that if you want.
Oh, God. It's going to be a nightmare.
All right. Well, let's see how it goes the first time. How about that?
All right.
So, prison movies based on their 1-star review. And a couple of these stretching, you have to think outside the box a little bit when it comes to prison movies. But, okay. First 1-star review. So, each of them have 3. Some of them have 4 just because I felt like the last one wasn't obvious enough. So, I threw in another one. But it's like last week, these get progressively more easy. But here it is. Okay. First 1-star review. It's nice to see things that make Grand Theft Auto games feel plausible and nuanced.
No idea.
This would be a tough one.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
There's so many movies going through my head that could relate to things that happen in Grand Theft Auto.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there a movie called Escape with Schwarzenegger and Stallone? Is that it?
It's not it.
Okay.
I'll go to the next one.
Yeah.
Second 1-star review. This is late 90s camp for conservative dads.
Are these well-known movies, by the way?
All of these are well-known movies. You should have seen or at least know of most of these movies. I will say Escape from Alcatraz did not have any good 1-star reviews, so it does not appear on this list.
Okay. For conservative...
You know what? How about I'll read all 3, and then the first person to buzz in can guess.
Got it. Okay. Still work in progress. I get it.
Yeah. Why is everyone from Mobile, Alabama, and why the fuck is Dave Chappelle in this?
Oh,
Mark!
Damn it.
Mark.
What is Con Air?
It is Con Air.
What is Con Air?
I don't have Jeopardy rules.
No, you gotta do it.
Yeah. And I guess you could buzz in at any time when you think you know it. So if I only read the first 2 and you think you know it, then go right ahead.
Okay.
All right, second one. This is the most sickening movie I've had the displeasure of watching in my high school psychology class. I'm getting a little hint of a movie that you might
Cell?
watch. Not The Cell.
Yeah, all right. What is The Cell?
Yep.
That was the problem. Yeah.
Second one. So they expect me to sympathize with a murderer and a rapist. No.
Mark?
Mark?
12 Monkeys? What is 12 Monkeys? Okay.
Dan.
What?
Is it Silence of the Lambs?
Nope. All right. This one kind of has another theme to it. Watch this for my sociology class. It's pretty awful. 1 star for Susan Sarandon.
Susan Sarandon oh man, that's a tough one. I don't know. Mark, do you know?
I don't know. The only Susan Sarandon movie I can think of with any kind of crime is Thelma and Louise, but I don't think that is
Man Walking.
Okay.
No, never saw it.
Yeah. Now it makes sense, obviously, after you get the answer.
All right. Next one. You could tell this was directed by a white man.
Directed by there's so many directed by white men. Do you have a year? I guess no. Keep going.
Yeah, let's go to the next clue. Yeah.
Much like A Time to Kill, liberal '90s attitudes to race in America are way more insidious than the reactionary action films of the time.
A Time to Kill. That's a good one. I don't know yet.
Okay. I'm gonna blank out a name on this one.
Okay.
Just another fucking prison movie that's 3 hours long, and blank looks like he ate too much goddamn Wendy's at the goddamn brewery.
What is Shawshank Redemption?
It's not Shawshank Redemption. Close though.
Oh,
too much Wendy's at the brewery.
Wendy's. Somebody looks fat. No, I'm drawing a blank. No, just not to drag it out here.
Oh, The Green Mile.
Green Mile.
Well, who looked like they ate too much Wendy's?
Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
All right, next one. Sweaty men acting all tough and macho-like. Didn't finish it.
What is Cool Hand Luke?
That is Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how we've gone Jeopardy rules at this point, even though I didn't tell you to do Jeopardy rules.
Mark brought it in. I can't not do it now.
The other two reviews were Not Enough Eggs.
Okay.
And I do not like this movie, and Paul Newman is the reason.
Wow. Interesting. I don't know many people who don't like Paul Newman.
I know, right? Okay, next one. I don't know if this is obvious enough, to be honest with you. Can you call someone a mastermind if their plan is this dumb?
Oh, what is The Rock?
No.
Oh, damn it.
That's actually a good think outside the box prison movie, I think.
Because it's a really dumb idea that Ed Harris has.
All right, next one. The Sawification of the crime thriller. So that's SAW-ification, as in the movie Saw.
Ooh, okay.
I'll give you the last one. I think the last one is a pretty good one. Of all the ridiculous plot devices I have ever seen in movies thus far, the bad guy being able to kill someone instantly by simply calling them on the phone has to be pretty damn near the top of the list.
Firestarter?
It's not Firestarter.
What?
You're so disappointed in yourself.
Wait, should I know this?
What is Phone Booth?
It is not Phone Booth. We've covered this on the podcast and it stars one Gerard Butler. It is Law Abiding Citizen.
Oh, man. Should have known that.
I'm disappointed for Dan.
Yeah. What was the first two?
The Sawification of crime thrillers. And can you call someone a mastermind if their plan is this dumb?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Next one. Prisoners would fart a lot more. They have nothing else to do. Not a realistic portrayal of life in the old fart cage of justice.
Prisoners would fart a lot more?
I'm going to take a stab in the dark. Mark, what is Godfather Part 2?
No.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I was thinking you're making a joke about the cooking in prison.
That's good.
Yeah, Goodfellas, yeah. Fart a lot more. My God.
I don't think that part really is will give this movie away. I couldn't not put that.
The end of it is great.
Oh, I think I know. Is it the longest yard?
It is not The Longest Yard.
Oh, okay.
Here's the next one. Maybe 1 star is an exaggeration, but I fucking hate this sentimental mess of a film.
Is it I Love You? Damn it. What's the one with Jim Carrey and Ewan McGregor?
I Love You, Philip Morris.
Yeah.
It's not it.
Okay.
No.
I wasn't sure if you guys would remember that movie, so I didn't put it. I'll say it doesn't show up on my list.
Okay. And this is a well-known movie, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to need the next clue.
Okay,
Sure.
Last one is it's a movie about a gay interracial relationship.
I don't know. Hold on. Let me think.
Huh.
Let's Go to Prison?
It's not. Nope.
I'm running out of prison movies.
I'll say this one didn't have a whole lot of 1-star reviews.
Oh, so it's actually probably a good movie. I was gonna say, no. What is Harold Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay?
Ooh, that would have been a good one.
That's a good one.
But I didn't. Nah, that's not it.
Yeah.
The answer is The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh man.
Okay.
Wait.
I get it. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I took the relationship
Literally.
literal. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it was literal.
Maybe I don't know, but I thought it meant what obviously.
All right, this one has 4.
Okay.
The cinematography, editing, and directing for this movie came together like a flannel shirt and parachute pants. I just like that. The next one is.
Oh, good.
I just like that. So I wanted to say that, but it doesn't really give away anything.
I like it.
Here's the next one. What the fuck is this movie? Why wouldn't you just get a metal detector and a backhoe?
A metal detector co.
Yeah.
All right.
Be about burying money. No, I feel like I'm on a track, but yeah, I can't think of it.
The Great Escape?
It is not The Great Escape. All right, the next one.
Go ahead.
I hated this movie as a kid. Every time the trailer came on Disney Channel, I would get so mad. Rewatching, and I still hate it. Makes me feel like How Wet Leaves. Mark?
What is Holes?
It is Holes.
Oh, good job, Mark.
And the last one was too many holes in the plot for my liking.
Aha.
Yeah, the other movie I was thinking of was that I didn't know how you were going to stretch it to be a prison movie. I was kind of thinking of like the that Sam Raimi movie where they steal the money or whatever. Or
Simple Plan?
Yeah.
I didn't stretch it that much.
Yeah.
These basically popped up. If I searched prison movies on Google, these popped up. So I wasn't.
Yeah, and holes you wouldn't think of as a prison movie off the top of your head.
Right. All right, here's the next one. I had to watch this in school, and it was just Worst Chicken Run.
I feel that's going to help with the next clue.
I'll go to the next one if you guys want.
Yeah.
Sure.
War movies are the death of me. I cannot lie.
Was that Hogan's Heroes? Was that a movie or is that a show?
That's a show.
Yeah.
It's a show.
What is Hearts War?
Nope.
Okay.
What's the next one?
All right, this one's going to give it away. More like Lame Escape, LOL.
What is the Great Escape?
Yes.
Lame Escape. That's good.
That one did not have a whole lot of 1-star reviews.
I could imagine.
All right, we got 2 more.
Okay.
1 star. It's insanely homophobic and racist, but it also humanizes prisoners. So in 2022, this movie is for literally no imaginable audience.
So it just came out.
No, there's a person
okay.
watching it in 2022.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It's homophobic and racist. Oh, Dan.
What's up?
American History X?
Nope. Good guess, though.
Yeah.
Can we go to the next one?
Yeah.
Some things should never be remade.
Mark.
Yeah.
What is The Longest Yard?
It is The Longest Yard.
Nice.
And the last clue was the only reason I'm giving it 1 point is because of Nelly.
Okay. Banned out performance by Nelly.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see how that movie could be, the racist and homophobic and all that.
Sure, it's an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since it was in theaters, so I'm assuming it probably doesn't hold up. But last one. First one is a movie for dads, 1 star.
Oh man, that could be anything.
I'll go to the next one.
What is Hearts War?
No. It's not war movies. Does Hearts War have prison in it?
I think he goes to prison.
No idea.
Yeah.
I'll clue you in. Hearts War is not on this list.
Okay.
Only way to explain. Got so excited to see my 2 favorites, and it was a complete boner killer.
Wild Things?
No.
No, that wouldn't kill a boner. That would create them.
All right, last one. The most boring and dumb prison breakout I've ever seen. So movies for dads.
What is Wild Hogs?
Nope.
I think I don't know if that's a prison movie, right? That's like
I thought they might have broke out of a county jail or something.
Movie for dads.
Is it The Rock?
Prison breakout.
Is it The Rock?
It is not The Rock.
God damn it.
I'll give it to you.
Why isn't it The Rock?
It's Escape Plan, starring Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, I brought that up earlier. How did I not get it?
Is it The Rock?
And that's it. That's all I got.
That's
very
pretty good.
nice. Yeah, I like the 1-star reviews. People are very clever.
Yeah, this one was a little bit harder because it's not Gerard Butler movies. So some of these had very few 1-star reviews.
Well, one of them was the Gerard Butler movie.
Yeah. Alrighty, that is our episode this week. Thank you for listening, and we're gonna be. Guess what? We're gonna be back next week with a whole new episode. Hit us up on all socials: Twitter, Instagram at TickTamPod. They called this a movie on TikTok, and those are places you can find us. Actually, I set up a new Gmail, so you could, if you wanted to, shoot us an email. TickTamPod@gmail.com is our new email address. So throw us some love that way.
Yeah,
why not?
Get us some ideas.
Yeah,
right.
Suggest some movies to us. We're always open to some suggestions.
Or if you email us a bunch of questions for our opinions, maybe we'll have an email set. Who knows?
Yeah. Ask Mark about the movies that he's going to watch now that we don't have a "What are you watching?" segment. I'd love to hear those. No, but seriously, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from people that like to listen. So we'd love to hear from you. If you got time while you're writing some emails to us, go on over to your favorite podcatcher of choice. Give us a 5-star review. Helps out a great deal. All right. We're going to get out of here. And the director of Vendetta is Bruce Logan. So for Dan Aquino and Mark Myers, this is Anthony Vecchio telling Bruce Logan, well, you certainly made a movie, didn't you? Thanks for listening to They Call This a Movie. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at TickTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. You can also check us out on TikTok at They Call This a Movie.